Hey y'all, it's Ren of Taurus Rising, back with you today for our weekly Wellness with Tarot series and continue with our series on the Fool's Journey. So if you haven't been with us, I'll just do a little recap. So this series is going through the Fool's Journey. The Fool's Journey is a journey through the major arcana cards, and it's in a sense a metaphor for the journey that we all go through in this human plane, the Earth School. It's sort of a metaphor for that. It starts with the Fool, ends with the world. And just to recap what we've got up to this point. So we have the Fool, which the Fool is sort of like a new soul. So I'm kind of going to give sort of like a cliff notes real quick on each card. So the Fool is like, I'm a new soul, new beginning. Okay, fresh start. So it's like a new soul coming into the world. And then we come to the Magician. Like the Fool goes along, meets the Magician. And the Magician is really about kind of making things happen. So it's almost like if a new baby were born, the Fool, it's like the Magician is like, cool, I can move my arm and do that, and that thing happens. So it's almost like learning to kind of control your environment. It's more about the physical plane, conscious action, making things happen, making plans. And the High Priestess is kind of like, there's more to me than just doing things. Like I have an inner world, so it kind of represents the subconscious, things like that. And then we have the Empress, that's about like the physical world, also represents like the mother, the beauty of nature, like senses. And then we got the Emperor, where the Fool learns about rules. Like there's rules and there's boundaries, and we can do these things and we can't do these things. Then we've got the Hierophant, and the Hierophant represents like institutions and belief systems, sort of like religion, institutions, things like that. And now we are moving on to the Lover's card. So as you can see in this card, there's a lot of imagery, and you'll see like there's an angel and almost like Adam and Eve kind of situation here. I just want to name that this is a very like heteronormative kind of card too. So it's traditionally just, it has a male and a female. So I just want to name that it is heteronormative in that way. But the energy behind this card is self in relation to other, not just another person, but like, okay, I'm a person who is in a relationship with this person, place, or thing. And I think the biggest relationship that we can think of in our lives is a romantic one. So that's kind of why I think the Lover's card is more, at face value, it is like a romantic love, like that kind of relationship. But it doesn't represent only that. I think generally the energy behind the Lover's card is self in relation to something else, like harmony, balance. It also represents choices, like making a choice around, because also your choice affects other people and your environment. So I really feel like big picture of this card, that's how I feel about this card, is it's self in relation to other things and situations and places and things like that. So, and it's about finding harmony and balance and being in the world as part of the world, I think, and getting along with others and navigating relationships with others and things and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's the energy of this card. Okay, so I think I've spent enough time on background stuff for the Fool's Journey. I just felt compelled to do a little recap leading up to this. So now what we've been doing is I've been asking, the tarot, where do I need Lover's energy in my life? And then just naming that this is a collective reading, not an individual reading. So it may not all resonate. So we are going to ask the cards. And right now I've got I'm using the Radiant Rider Waite card just to show y'all the Lovers here, but I'm going to be using the Ethereal Visions deck for the actual reading. All right, so where do we need Lover's energy? And I'm going to do that thing where I pull one card and maybe a second card, just depending on what comes up. All right. What do we got here? how interesting. We have another major arcana card here, the Chariot. So where do we need Lover's energy in our life? The Chariot. We haven't even gotten to this card yet in our Fool's Journey. That'll be coming up here soon. The Chariot, as you can see, it's a person in a chariot, and it's reversed. So reverse means sort of like resistance, block. It could also mean more of like an inner process versus an external process. And the Chariot is really about like effort and grit and just like kind of making things happen. Like, you know, we had the Magician earlier in our series around, you know, making plans, taking action. This is really like digging in, making things happen. Like a chariot is a vehicle, it moves things. And so it's like almost like really strong effort and grit. It represents like grit and almost like discomfort, like getting things done, you know, because they got to get done. So I'm wondering if there's perhaps an area of someone's life, we'll just speak generally, where action really needs to be taken. Like, what's coming to mind is career. I don't know why, but probably because we all have to go to work and put in some effort. Or it's almost like a belief. Actually, okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So this means like effort and grit, right? It's reversed, which means there's a block, some resistance. What I'm getting from this card is there is a lack of belief in oneself to make things happen. Like, oh, I don't have it in me. I can't do it, so I'm just not going to do it. Or just like a lack of self-confidence, a lack of feeling of competency. And having a sense of self-efficacy and competency, like I could do that thing. Maybe I don't know how to do it, but I can learn. The belief in yourself to learn how to do things. There's lacking in that. And so I think this card right now and this reading is representing a lack of belief in self, a lack of, oh, I can't even do it. Almost like an external locus of control. If you've ever heard an external versus internal locus of control. Internal is like, cool, I can, you know, make things happen. And external is like, oh no, things happen to me. Almost like I have no say in it. Fate will decide for me. There needs to be some sort of taking responsibility that I can do things. I can do things for my life. I can make change in my life, even if it's like cleaning my closet and making positive change happen, movement in my life versus letting things happen. So that's what I'm getting from this card. Okay, so where do we need Lover's energy and self-belief, self-competency? Like, okay, I can get things done. That internal thing going on in a person is that, you know, that belief in yourself. We need the Lover's card. Okay, the Lovers, remember, represents self in relation to others. So perhaps that is getting like a mentor or something like that, some sort of relational thing in this area of your life. Because maybe I think I used this term last week, an echo chamber. Like there's this echo chamber of, I can't do it, you know, like suffering, kind of just going through life and not really believing in yourself to make things happen. So you're just kind of dealing with the life that you have, and things could be better. Maybe things are actually okay, and you're sort of complacent. But there needs to be some sort of shakeup because you're living in this echo chamber of just yourself, and all you're seeing is your life and yourself and how things are. There needs to be some sort of contrast. Contrast, that's the word I'm looking for. Because in relationships, there's a contrast. You and the other person, or you and the other entity or thing. You're not just one thing, there's a contrast. There needs to be some sort of contrast because you're living in this autopilot belief of, I can't change my life, so I'm just gonna, you know, just keep on doing what I'm doing. That could eventually lead to depression, or maybe you're already in that. Maybe you're already in a depression or like low level functioning depression, or just in general, like a lack of fulfillment. So it's time to catch that. That belief that you can't do things, that you can't make positive things happen, that you can't make change or learn new things, that is like a cancer that can grow deeper and deeper and infiltrate all areas of your life, and your life can become small. So maybe you've been living like that for a long time. Or maybe it's something recently happened to where you just lacked, like kind of shook your confidence in yourself and your ability to do life in the way that you wish you could. And there needs to be some sort of contrast. There needs, like perhaps through another person. I'm going to quote Lacey Phillips of To Be Magnetic, like I've done before. She talks about expanders. So finding, okay, if someone who has done something, and then you say, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too. But there needs to be some sort of contrast, because what you've been doing isn't working anymore, and it could get worse. So intervention must be had, and that could mean even like getting more professional support, perhaps therapist or something like that. This one took more of a heavy turn, certainly, than our past readings. So if this is really resonating with you out there, I really am sending out some good thoughts to you, and hope that you can get the support that you need. Because it's cheesy, but we all need to believe in ourselves and believe that you can have better and do better, and that you're worthy of like good things in your life. And what I'm getting around the reverse chariot is sort of this lack of belief in self, and that your life is shrinking, and I don't want that for anyone. So if this is really resonating with you, with someone out there, sending out good thoughts and hoping you get some support. I'm going to pull another card just to see what else we got. I'm going to do that thing where I pull the bottom card. Oh, they're going everywhere. Okay, what do we got? I'm getting, the Four of Swords. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we've gotten this recently. Four of Swords reversed, another reverse card. The Four represents like really grounding and home. And the Swords represent thought. And it's reversed. So maybe some sort of resistance to calming your thoughts. Sort of like, I don't want to think about it, when you allow yourself to ruminate, but it keeps coming back. So it sounds like there's just really needing to be a quieting of the mind, because oftentimes we tell ourselves, negative things. Most of us have a inner critic that can be very loud sometimes, and there needs to be some sort of grounding and quieting of the thoughts. Your thoughts aren't always facts. So be careful what you think, and be careful what you believe. So there needs to be some sort of addressing with your thoughts and quieting of the thoughts. Like I mentioned earlier, perhaps some professional help if you need, therapist, psychologist, something like that for some more outside intervention. Because sometimes the mind can get really busy, and it's hard to know what's real or what's true for you, and talking it out can really help you find clarity. So to recap this reading, this was definitely, like I said, heavier reading. The reverse chariot, I'm saying it's just a lack of belief in self, a lack of a belief in one's ability to make change or make things happen or take the wheel, if you will, of your own life. And that if left unhelped can lead to depression, anxiety, or worse. And so just really, hoping if this is you, if forever who that is out there, that they can get support. And also a need for quieting the thoughts, grounding the thoughts, staying grounded in the facts and what's true, because sometimes the brain can play tricks on you. Our brains have a negativity bias, and our brains will focus on the negative because we're built for survival. And so that's why sometimes there's more negative thoughts than good thoughts. And if left unattended to, if that keeps going, that can lead to anxiety, depression. So that's definitely something to get some support with, at least, at the very least, awareness. And if you can't get professional help, at least getting some self-help in the meantime, but professional help can always be good. And just bringing back the Lover's card. The Lover's card is about harmony, balance, relationships, and choice. So relation between self and other, be it a person or otherwise. And where do we need that? Well, it sounds like mental health. Mental health generally, mental health, self-worth stuff is coming up in this reading. And there needs to be some sort of relationship, perhaps therapy, a better relationship to self, or just not suffering alone, reaching out to friends so you're not alone. There's, this may not apply to you, but there is a saying, it's the opposite of addiction is connection. Not everyone deals with necessarily addiction to substances or processes, but the opposite of that is connection with others. And so there needs some sort of relational thing is needed. So you're not alone and suffering in an echo chamber alone. Also, because part of the Lovers is choice, perhaps looking at choices. What are you doing? Are you making good choices for yourself? Are you getting good sleep? Are you eating well? Are you eating at all? So those things too. I think a lot is coming up in this reading. And if I don't stop soon, it'll be a very long reading. So I hope that this was supportive for you. If you are needing outside support out there, I hope that you get it. I'll also link some resources in the comments of this video. If you are interested in an individual reading, because this was a collective reading, you can reach out to me on my website or my Instagram and book a session. I'm Ren of Taurus Rising. That's Taurus Rising. Rising is R-Y-Z-I-N-G. And I thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope to see you around soon, maybe in an individual reading. And if not, I will see you next week in our next video. Have a great rest of your day.